Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel, Bittersweet Survival. I've decided to start this channel because I've learned in the last couple of months that I am the queen of anecdotes and I am the queen of unsolicited advice. And I've decided to bring my skills to YouTube because so I'm not frustrating my friends and family as much. So anyway, I wanted to share, the first thing I want to share in my first video is how changing a habit changed my life. And I want to help you discover how to change habits in your life. And I'm going to take it from a different perspective. Usually, when you go to these advice channels, they're going to tell you exactly what to do. This is how I did it. And I'm going to tell you how I've done my things, but I'm not going to give you specific advice. I'm not going to tell you you have to do this at this time and this at this time and that at that time. If that's what you're looking for, if you need somebody who will handhold you through every single thing, this is not the channel for you. But if you would like to learn how to change your perspective on things, which could make your life a lot easier, then welcome. Join us. It's my birthday, and I am just enjoying life today. So, as somebody who's pushing 50, not 50 yet, but pushing 50, I have learned a lot in my life. And as a Gen Xer, I grew up thinking that you're a slave to your habits and change is hard. And I want to challenge both of those theories. First theory about habit, okay, that you're a slave to your habits. Actually, you're not, because a habit is just a reaction. That's all it is. It's a reaction. Think about your habits, okay? Okay, here's my first anecdote. So you go into a baseball game and you're in the stands and you're watching the action happening and you're talking to the person next to you and you're actually distracted by the person next to you to the point where you're not really watching the game all that much. And then all of a sudden you hear, heads up. Well, if you've been to a game before, then you're going to be like, whoa, we're not talking anymore. Like, what's going on? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Because heads up means the ball is out of control. It might even be heading for your head. Now, personally, I don't know about you, but personally, when I go to a baseball game, I go to observe. I don't really want to walk away with a twitch for the rest of my life. So I'm going to protect the dome. When somebody yells heads up, I know to look for a ball coming at me. I'm one of those people where my hands are going to be up before I even see anything, and then I'll be like, oh, it's over there. Okay, that's great. I'd rather look silly with my hands up than be like, what ball? Oh, right in the head. Oh, now my leg does something funny. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. And I'm not making fun of anybody who has head injuries. I just don't want to be somebody with a head injury, because that is really, really difficult. And I'm so sorry for that. So back to the story. So when you're in the baseball game and somebody yells heads up, that is an absolute wanting to see where the ball is and making sure it doesn't hit you in the head is an excellent habit. It's absolutely insanely excellent. It's such a good habit, but it's one you can't practice. You can't be walking down the street and say to yourself, heads up. Like, you can't practice this one. Deflecting something from hitting your head is something that you can only really practice when something is being thrown at your head. Right? It's an excellent habit. It's an excellent stress-induced muscle memory habit. It's also one of the hardest things to change. Have you ever tell somebody that they can hit you and somebody else had to physically hold your hands down because your instinct to protect yourself is just so hard that you cannot keep yourself from protecting yourself. It's that great of it's stress-induced habit. It's that great of a habit. But it's one that you can't practice, but it's a reaction to only that situation, because that's what a habit is. It's just a reaction. If you think about an argument that you have with somebody and it always ends up the same way, you want to talk about this and you want them to address this situation. Now, at some point, they might say this, which has nothing to do with this situation. And if you do not realize that they're trying to change the subject and they're talking about something that's different, you may be inclined to react to what they said with this, and then this, and then they say this, and then you say this, and then you say this, and then they say this, and then, oh my God, you're in the same conversation. Nothing has been resolved, and that issue is still an issue, and you can't even talk to them about it. What I've learned is that if you act differently, it forces other people to react differently. So if you decide in that moment when they change topics that you're just going to stop, take a breath, and bring them back to this point and say, no, 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 we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. This is what I'm talking about. Come back. That will completely change your argument. I would love to see some people try that. You might not succeed the first time because depending on who the person is, how close they are, how often these habits happen, oh my goodness. Some of these habits were ingrained since a child. It's how you reacted to confrontations with your parents, or it's how you reacted to confrontations with your siblings or grandparents or guardians or foster parents or whatever situation you grew up with. A lot of the stress induced reactions that people have the most problem with are like that people feel are really bad are ones that started when you were a child. And we'll get into that. We'll get into deactivating triggers later. But what I want you to look at right now is just that it's a habit. It's just a reaction. It's a reaction to the situation. If you've ever lived at home and you have your same home, but your office moved, maybe you got a new office, same people you work with, new office. Has that ever happened to you? How many times during the first week did you wake up running late and find yourself heading towards that old office? At least once, right? And if you're somebody who gives extra time, you might have still been able to make it on time. But I'm not one of those people. I woke up late. I was stressed. I drove to the office, and as I parked, I'm like, oh crap, I don't work here anymore. And I called the office and I was like, I'm sorry, I went to the wrong office. And they're like, oh, I did that too. Oh, okay, come on. If they're good people and they understand human behavior, they will forgive you once or twice, especially during the first couple of weeks. If you're still doing it after 6 months, there's something wrong there. And it's the same as like if you've got the same office, but you've moved your home. Have you ever done that? You leave work, you're so stressed, and you just want to drive home and you allow muscle memory to take over and you go to pull in and you're like, I don't live here anymore. Oh, crap. Turn around, go to where I do live. It's happened to all of us because that's how stress induced, like that's what muscle memory does. It leads you. You stop thinking about it. When you're changing a habit, you got to add muscle memory into it. You got to add new muscle memory reactions and try to disengage the muscle memory, actually. But that's something I'm going to talk about later. Back to the points. Habit is just a reaction. So I hope I've explained exactly how that works. Now we're going to look at the word change. When it comes to change, I was raised to believe change is hard. Actually, what I've discovered is unwanted change is hard. Okay? You ever found a new job and you quit your job? That's awesome, right? You go to the new job, you get to learn. I love to learn, so learning a new job is absolutely awesome to me. So I would go to the new job and I would learn and I would want to find out about the environment. It's exciting. It really, really is. But if you ever get fired from your job or laid off, it wasn't your choice, you have to go look for a new job, that's hard. Unwanted change is hard. So you got to learn to want the change. You got to learn to want it. And I'll teach you how to do that. So, have you ever noticed one of the reasons why health and wellness changes are so unsuccessful might be because we treat habit change when it comes to health and wellness completely different than every other aspect of our life. Let me give you an example. I had to buy a new couch. Okay, whenever you buy something new to replace what's there, you have to make a lot of decisions. For my couch, let's go back to the couch situation. So I had to decide if I want to replace my couch with a couch, or do I want a chair instead, or do I want a love seat, or do I want to completely change what it was? But I decided no, I definitely want a couch. Now you decide, do you want the couch to be in the same position as the old couch? Is it going to be bigger or smaller than what you already have? And then once you've made those decisions, now it's kind of like, okay, let's see what's available. And then you get to the point where you actually are ready to go shopping. And whether it's online or in person, I like to in person shop because I want to actually sit on the cushions, and because I'm going to be sitting on them for a long time. I spend a lot of time on my couch, so I want to make sure that it's going to be comfortable. So testing it out is awesome, but sometimes if you're in the online thing and you don't mind returns, then don't mind returning stuff online, then you could be an expert at coming, you wearing it, you wear a couch. Yes, you do. you sit on it for like a week or so, like a couple weeks, to make sure that you really enjoy it, and then you would return it within the time frame if you need it. But you've made 100 different decisions. The last thing that you do, unless it is a biohazard or it is literally hurting you to sit on it, you don't get rid of your old couch first. You don't toss your old couch out to motivate you to bring in your new couch. But when you go to your doctor or a nutritionist or a dietitian who doesn't understand habit change, a lot of times what you're going to hear is, oh, stop doing this, this, and this, and replace it with this, this, and this. I've tried that. I've tried that a lot. And you know what I discovered was actually worked for me? Yes, I do this, this, and this, but I'm going to start doing this, this, and this first. And then I want to see how I feel when I do this, this, and this versus this, this, and this. And then I find out that what used to be my muscle memory plan A reaction now has a choice. I can now choose a different reaction. And when I take the time to stop myself, calm myself down, I can actually implement this new reaction. But just like with a couch, you want to shop for your new reactions. Yes, people say that, we all have heard over and over again exactly what it is that you need to do. But one of the things my doctors are going to recommend is that I eat, as a woman, a middle-aged woman, I should have dairy twice a day. Well, I'm sorry, doctor, I'm allergic to dairy. I'm allergic to it. If I eat it, it's going to cause me more problems than anything else. So no, I'm not going to eat dairy twice a day, but I've got to figure out what kind of nutrients does dairy offer that they're saying is so great, so that I can figure out how to find a replacement for it. That's a little complicated, but the point is that in the health and wellness industry, they attack it from a set yourself up for failure type of situation. And I used to be scared of the word fail. I used to hate the word fail because fail led to me feeling like a failure. But then I learned that the word fail is actually an acronym to frequent attempts in life. I've heard first attempt in learning and first attempt in life, but what I've discovered is that I don't do anything perfectly the first time. In fact, the first time is the worst time because I've never done it before. And the second time, I don't know if it's better or worse. It's definitely not perfect. My second time is not going to be perfect. Like, that's why I say frequent attempts in life. So fail, F, frequent, A, attempts, I, in, L, life. That's what it is. And when you stop beating yourself up because you didn't get it perfect the first time, life gets a lot easier. But I digress. So I was saying that you want to set yourself up to shop for these new habits, because sometimes we don't know what we want. We just don't want this reaction. Like every time we react this way, it causes us this problem. Okay, what do you want instead? What would be the better reaction? I know plenty of people who absolutely say one thing and do the exact opposite. It's like, I want to be closer to you, but every time I'm close to you, like you go in for a hug and they put up their hand and they're like, yeah, hug me. Okay. And they shove you away. It's like, oh my gosh, what the fuck are you doing? Like, seriously, why? Or they say like, I want to be healthier, and yet they have absolutely no action that they're following with it. You got to learn how to motivate yourself. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. But The thing is that if you add the habits that you want first, you're giving yourself an option. Once you have that second option, your new habit can become plan A, and your old habit, which doesn't serve you anymore, can become plan B. You don't want to get rid of your old habits. Everyone likes to demonize habits. It's a reaction to the situation. It worked at some point in your life. You learned this to deal with maybe somebody that you lived with. So this is a reaction that you want to keep, because if you go up against that person again, this is the best reaction to that person. But what we've learned in life is like the way that we treat one person is not the way we treat everybody. I mean, okay. Have you ever tried to talk to your boss the way you do your pets? How exactly is that going to keep your job? Have you ever tried to talk to your parents the way you talk to your children? Well, depending on how you do it, it could work. But mostly you got to change it up a little bit. We treat people differently depending on their proximity to us. Our reactions to our habits should be the same. I know it's a weird concept, but this is my first video. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got something out of it. I'm going to go into more detail in my next video. But yeah, so this is kind of what my style is. I hope you like it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you're looking at habits and change differently. All you got to do is learn how to want it, and it becomes easy to change. Kind of a hard thing to accept, but stick around. Finger guns. It's not a full gun. Fingers. Stick around and you might learn some more. If nothing else, you can watch me make a fool out of myself on every video. Okay. Bye for now.